my paper. Hey dudes, welcome to Inside the Song, Mind Your Meanings. I'm Will. This is Wilbur. Let's get into it. If you haven't already listened to the song, you can find that on Bandcamp, or you could find, and if you are struggling to find my Bandcamp, you can go to wilburmusic.com, wilbr.music.com, and there's a link to get to Bandcamp from there. And also, I'm going to slow down. I just recorded the behind the song for this, and I got myself all worked up in the outro part of that. But yeah, if you're interested in checking out the behind the song, feel free to go check out that video before watching this one, and that might help to contextualize some of this for you. But we're just going to get into it. Also, I mentioned Bandcamp for listening to Mind Your Meanings. You can also see me play a video live demo on YouTube in the live demos playlist on my page. So check that out if you feel like doing so. Some folks know the words that they wish not to or to say, and some still seem to think that most terms can be interchanged. I do my best to let attention pay for itself and any meaning I can't seem to quite convey. So that, to me, some folks know the words that they wish not to or to say. That, to me, speaks to the way that some people... I recently have become very mindful of the word choice that I use, of the words that I choose. And there are certain words that I choose not to use, whether they have a sort of hateful connotation or whether there's just a connotation that I personally don't appreciate, like that doesn't feel good to me. Like, for example, the word problem. I don't really like using the word problem because historically problems have been things that I've struggled to overcome. And in the interest of not putting myself back into this old headspace where I'm feeling like there's a problem that I can't solve, I just avoid that word completely, and instead I might use the word challenge or issue. Issue I don't love either. I don't love things with a negative connotation that I personally understand to have a negative connotation. Just because there are so many words and synonyms. It's like, if I don't like a word, if using a certain word doesn't make me feel good, if something about a word just puts me off, why not make up a new one? Like, people, how do you think we got so many words? Like, people just make up words. Anyways, so I do see, I don't like saying that I know things, because most of the time I'm just aware of something that I've heard. I don't actually know anything with any certainty. But I am aware of the words that I wish to say or not, at least for the most part. Sometimes I need to say something to realize I don't want to say that anymore. But those first couple lines are just making the point. Not everyone does that. That's fine. And some still seem to think that most terms can be interchanged. To me, I've gotten into multiple debates about language, and it's been said to me these are semantics, like implying that, and semantics is the branch of study concerning definitions of words. Um, and I've felt called out, or I've felt criticized for considering semantics and for um, basically, if you say something to me and based on my understanding of the definitions of those words, I understand it to mean something different from how you meant it. I don't, it's not that either of us are in the wrong, because to me right and wrong implies some aspect of morality. Right and wrong are different from correct and incorrect. So neither of us were right or wrong in that situation, but I do believe if we're talking about definitions and commonly agreed upon definitions, you might be incorrectly using terms if you're just interchanging them and assuming that there's no con like that the different words are not more appropriate in certain contexts. Um, when any nuance is discounted, that to me might be irksome. Good word, irksome. Um, really, since I stopped judging myself and letting myself just use whatever words or whatever words want to come through, I feel like my vocabulary's expanded a lot. But that's beside the point. I do my best to let attention pay for itself and any meaning I can't seem to quite convey. That means I do my best to let attention pay for itself. I try to pay attention to attention. I try to pay attention to what am I paying attention to. That might seem a little meta to some people, but some of my fellow meditators might know what I mean. For itself, paying attention, what's attention paying to? And any meaning I can't seem to quite convey. Like, I do my best to be mindful of what is still not getting through, what is still in the ether, in the thought dimension that I still have not translated into words. Yeah. It may occur to you the problem's root could be the rate at which we try to live. We're left forgetting what's at stake. We do our best, and it changes day to day. Though we often could do better, life's a journey, not a race. So that's me kind of, or in that verse, it may occur to you the problem's root could be the rate at which we try to live. We're left forgetting what's at stake. That's funny. I earlier said I don't like the word problem, but apparently when I was writing this, I didn't mind it. My point there was I believe maybe we're just trying to live too fast. Maybe we're so focused on outcomes and different things in life that we forget what's really important at times, which to me is like things like love and humanity and connection. Anyways, we do our best and it changes day to day. Like, I do my best to be present and be kind and be patient, and depending on different factors, how, like, what I've eaten, how much I've eaten, how much I've slept. I might not, my best is gonna be different depending on the day. And yeah, I could do better. We could always do better. But life's not a race. It's not a competition to be the best or do the most, like grow the most or be the most personally developed. It's a journey. It's about the experience. It's about, like, maybe you've heard someone say, the journey, the destination is the journey. Um, and that's really something that I've come to embrace. So mind your meanings, mind the words you say, mind your meanings, and notice when they begin to stray. And then you might know your own someday. I guess with that one, I was getting at, well, the mind your meanings and mind the words you say part, that seems a bit self-explanatory. Notice when they begin to stray. Like, notice when maybe you're getting excited and you start talking faster and the words you're saying start to stray from the meanings that you're intending. And it feels like when I reached that level of mindfulness where I was actively noticing, like, when I was starting to get dysregulated in the moment, I think that's when I started to feel like I understood my purpose. And not that it's, I guess, understood might not be the best word there, but I feel like that's when I started to align with my chosen purpose, which is to share my perspective. From my perspective. From my perspective, my purpose is to share my perspective and share myself, share my light, if you will. And maybe that triggers some people into self-reflecting, or maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. My goal is to be myself so fully that the people who aren't meant for me are repelled, and the people who are meant for me are inspired. So might you think again when words are met with batted eyes? Like, maybe when you say something and people are like, hmm? Huh? Maybe that's a sign to backtrack and instead of trying to, instead, like, I mean, this, now I'm going off script from the song, but, like, if you, something I see sometimes is, like, someone will misspeak and, like, maybe someone accidentally offends someone and then tries to explain why they don't need to be offended. It's like, just backtrack. That's not what I meant. I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. Anyways, maybe I'm not even thinking of a specific example. I feel like I have a very vague example in my mind. So I'm not sure. I feel like there's some amount of emotional attachment to that memory. So maybe it's something I'm blocking out. I don't know. Second thoughts aren't saved for after being read your rights. I was thinking, I spelled it rights, RIGHTS, but I was also thinking, like, could be like being read your rights, like you're getting arrested, or your last rights, like you're on your deathbed. Was kind of leaving that up to the listener. You may think again, my friend, whenever you decide. Such a helpful thing to do, I find, is slowing down my mind. And that is the truth. Slowing down my mind is one of the most helpful practices that I have taken on in my life. It really, whenever I'm struggling, slowing down is it's like 90% of the time, it seems, slowing down helps just with whatever problem I'm facing. Because a lot of the time, the problem is just that the mind is going too fast. So if I can just be like, hold on, like deep breaths. Deep breaths have saved my life. Also, the Grateful Dead has saved my life. That's another story. Mind my such a helpful thing to do, I find, is slowing down my mind. Then I can mind my meanings and mind the words I say. I mind my meanings and find forgiveness in my mistakes and forgiveness in thy mistakes. So try forgiving that guy's mistakes after forgiving your own mistakes. I have found so much peace and healing in forgiveness and becoming a master of forgiveness to the point where I can do something embarrassing or even I to where I've learned to forgive myself quicker. So in the past, maybe I say something awkward to someone that I'm meeting for the first time, and then I might have spent days thinking about that one interaction, I shouldn't have said that, I should have said this instead, whatever. um it's just learning to say, you know what, I forgive you. That was a moment of awkwardness. Maybe you didn't show up how you wanted to in that moment, but that's okay. I forgive myself, and I'm gonna do my best to do better next time. And really, that's all you can. I think I've gotten to that point by suffer I think it's really a matter of reps, forgiving oneself. Um, it seems to just come down to reps for me, repetitions, just practice, not apologizing, forgiving. Um, because really, this is our first time living, all of us. It's my first time alive. It's your first time alive, presumably. Maybe past lives are real. I don't really know. I'm not an expert, and I haven't done any sorts of past life regression things. So maybe this isn't your first time being alive. As far as I am aware, this is my first time being alive, and you'll have to forgive me if I don't take your word for anything else. That I'm getting sidetracked. I'm getting derailed by the nitty gritty. My point is that we're all on the same journey. We're all on this roller coaster of life. And some of us some of us do really shitty things. And there could be a lot of different reasons for why we do those shitty things. Maybe we're doing them maybe we are just purely self-centered and we just haven't thought about the consequences and how it affects other people. Maybe we don't even care about the way that our actions impact others. But at the end of the day, for me, I've been that way. I think most of us have at some point if we've allowed ourselves to be that way. Um, really, I think it's a part of natural development to be self centered. Like, look at teenagers. Um, and I think there are some of us who maybe don't get that opportunity to be selfish. And I could see those people having a really difficult time understanding why others might do the things they do. But from my understanding, it's all part of the experience, and it's all part of human development, personal development. And some of us just get stuck at different points. And I've been stuck before, and I've needed help getting unstuck. And sometimes I haven't realized when I was stuck. Actually, for most of the time that I was stuck, I was not aware. And sometimes I think, for me, it's important to me, forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean letting someone treat you a certain way or remain in your life, but forgiveness is about letting go of the past and not carrying resentment forward, because no matter what someone did to you, it's not you're not sticking it to them by holding on to a grudge. You're only hurting yourself. At least that's what I've found. So I do my best to harbor no resentment and to just let bygones be gone by the wayside, as Ricky LaFleur might say, has said. Um, so try forgiving that guy's mistakes after forgiving your own mistakes. Because for me, learning to forgive other people came later. First, I needed to learn how to forgive myself. And so, if that's you, something that I found really helpful when I was learning to forgive myself was writing affirmations. And if that might feel weird to you, this video has taken quite the turn, but you're watching, and so that tells me you're at least interested or curious enough to maybe keep listening. So I'll make this quick, and I can do a longer video on affirmations if anyone wants to. Just let me know in the comments. But something that I found really helpful when I was learning to forgive myself is writing affirmations that affirmed that I'm learning to forgive myself, or I'm letting go of the past, or I'm letting go of all resentment. Like, I personally preferred the 369 method, where in the morning, pick one affirmation, one statement to write out each day for 3 weeks. Because I've heard somewhere it takes 3 weeks to build a habit, right? Don't know if that's true. probably depends on the person, but we'll say 3 weeks. That's your homework. If that's your mission, should you choose to accept it, is writing, I'm learning to forgive myself, or I release all resentment. You write that 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times at night. Do that every day for 3 weeks, and I wonder if you might notice that you have started forgiving yourself more easily. That was essentially that aligns with my previous experience fairly well, and yeah, if some something that I've found is that our personalities are not fixed, and this has been reinforced by, I forget if I watched a Netflix docuseries on the mind called The Mind Explained, and I remember learning from that a personality is just a collection of behaviors. It's not who you are. Like, just because you have done something in the past doesn't mean that you have to keep doing that thing. But what I found is that for change to occur, there first needs to be awareness of what it is that do you want to change, and intention, intending to change. And some people might tell you that consistency is what's needed, but I don't think that's actually the next step. I think the next step is persistence. And with awareness, intention, and persistence, consistency will follow, and change will be right around the corner. At least that makes sense to me as I say it. I'm sure I'm thinking back to school learning about the stages of change model, and I'm like, does that align with this model? So I don't know if maybe there's some experts on change who could help me refine that framework, but I think I've been talking long enough. I'm sure you're ready to go listen to more Wilbur songs or something else. I don't know. But if you're still here, seriously, thank you so much for listening and supporting this channel. I really appreciate all of the support from all of you. All, was it 20, 24? So if you're not one of my 24 subscribers, I would invite you to please consider subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video, share it with anyone you think might be interested. Leave me a comment with any questions, comments, concerns, or anything you appreciated about the video. And thank you for your patience, by the way. I don't enjoy editing, so I appreciate your patience while I figure out what it is I'm trying to say or express, while I mind my meanings. But yeah, thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Peace and love. Bye.